Strap in, your roadmap to the latest in auto. Welcome to Highway Herald. Today we're diving into a clash bigger than tariffs or trade: water. North America is colliding over a resource more critical than oil. President Trump's push to treat Canada's rivers like a giant faucet has rattled negotiations, while Prime Minister Carney stands firm. No transfers, no giveaways. And this isn't just politics. It's about the lifeblood of farms, factories, chip fabs, and the auto plants driving our future. Flashpoint ignited, treaties, faucets, and frozen negotiations. For decades, U.S.-Canada water relations have been anchored by two key agreements. The Great Lakes Water Quality Agreement, GLW2A, first signed in 1972 and renewed in 2012, safeguards drinking water for millions while tackling invasive species and climate threats. Out west, the Columbia River Treaty, forged after mid-century floods, balances hydropower, irrigation, and flood control across a region vital to industry and communities. That balance is now in jeopardy. In early 2025, Washington halted treaty update talks, sparking warnings from British Columbia and utilities about unstable hydropower planning, disrupted salmon flows, and weaker flood protection. Then President Trump inflamed tensions further by describing Canada's rivers as a faucet, ready to quench U.S. droughts, widely viewed as a swipe at Canadian sovereignty. For automakers and advanced manufacturing, this isn't distant diplomacy. Water underpins hydropower, cooling systems, and factory permits. Stalled negotiations mean delays in car plant expansions, supplier caution, and chip makers holding back. Risks that threaten to choke production as drought pressures intensify. And that brings us to another critical layer of this story: how water and power connect directly to the factories and chip plants that keep our vehicles on the road. Water, power, and silicon. Why factories can't afford a dry spell. Follow the current, and it leads straight to the Columbia River Basin, which provides about 1/3 to 40% of U.S. hydropower. This massive system quietly powers data centers, aluminum smelters, and the semiconductor fabs that keep modern vehicles running. Chip plants are especially water-intensive. An advanced fab consumes millions of gallons of ultra-pure water each day for wafer cleaning and production. TSMC's Arizona facility alone uses about 4.75 million gallons daily and is building a recycling system to reclaim up to 90%, a necessity in a desert. If uncertainty shakes the Columbia Treaty, fabs could be forced to add costly redundancies or delay production, straining the supply chain. For automakers, the risks are immediate. Cars today are essentially computers on wheels, loaded with chips for sensors, infotainment, ADAS, and power modules. The last chip shortage stalled assembly lines and forced stripped-down trims. Without reliable treaty-backed water access, the auto industry risks reliving that crisis. Stability here is as vital as torque in a V8. Before we delve deeper, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Your support fuels Highway Herald and helps us deliver more insights on vehicles, policy, and the forces shaping the road ahead. Now let's turn east to another battleground, where the Great Lakes face mounting pressures of their own. Great Lakes tension, algae, science cuts, and 40 million thirsty taps. The Great Lakes sustain over 40 million people and form one of the world's largest industrial clusters. The 2012 Great Lakes Water Quality Agreement, GLW2A, expanded commitments to combat invasive species, restore habitats, and adapt to climate change, while establishing regular progress reports and binational forums, a vital dashboard for ecosystem health. That dashboard is now dimming. Budget cuts and staffing shortages at NOAA, including its Great Lakes Environmental Research Laboratory, have weakened monitoring. With fewer buoys and reduced lab work, forecasts slow, algal bloom warnings lag, and utilities face shakier data. For automakers, the risks are real. Detroit, Ontario, and the Midwest rely on consistent water intake and discharge for paint shops, casting, and final assembly. An unexpected algal spike could disrupt production overnight. Undermining Great Lakes science is like pulling spark plugs mid-race. Compliance costs soar, investors lose confidence, and EV or battery projects drift south. In North America, water management isn't just ecology, it's an industrial strategy. But agriculture and assembly lines add another dimension to this water story, showing just how tightly the value chain is bound to supply. Farms versus factories, the water equation behind every car. Water scarcity doesn't just drip into the auto world, It floods the value chain from both directions. Upstream, agriculture underpins automaking in unseen ways. Bio-based chemicals, natural rubber, and a logistics network all become more expensive when droughts or crop volatility hit. Downstream, car factories themselves are thirsty operations, with paint shops and surface treatment lines leading the pack in water demand. Yes, efficiency gains are real. Newer plants save tens of millions of gallons annually through recycling and smarter processes. Still, the paint booth remains the heavyweight, and when municipalities ration supply or hike discharge fees, automakers struggle to hold the line on vehicle prices. Debates continue over per-car water footprints, but whether older estimates or newer sustainability reports, the lesson is consistent. Paint line conservation is the key lever. Toyota's Kentucky paint facility shows how technology can cut water use while expanding capacity. Meanwhile, chip fabs remain heavy consumers, linking water security directly to vehicle production in an era of frozen cross-border diplomacy. And that sets the stage for the political showdown, where Ottawa's firm stance has reshaped the conversation on both sides of the border. Ottawa draws its line, and the auto industry takes note. Prime Minister Carney's firm rejection of bulk water exports resonates at home and abroad, reframing fresh water as a sovereign asset, not a bargaining chip. It's bound to treaties, Indigenous rights, and science, signaling that Washington cannot simply plan on Canadian rivers to ease U.S. droughts. That reality sharpens the urgency of finalizing Columbia River Treaty updates that balance hydropower, ecosystems, and flood control. Without such guardrails, both countries face greater volatility when climate shocks hit. For the auto sector, the takeaway is clear. Treat water scarcity as structural. Automakers must site or co-site chip operations in regions with proven municipal reuse and grids free from diplomatic uncertainty. At the plant level, investing in recycling systems and chemistry shifts in paint lines remains the most effective defense. Optics matter too. Investors notice when binational deals stall. At a time when America is selling itself as the hub for EVs, batteries, and chips, the regions that win will be those that prove their water math is reliable and transparent. Which brings us to the final verdict, a reality check on water as the unseen option package powering the auto industry. Final verdict, water, the unseen option package. Beneath the drama, one fact is clear. The auto industry's future depends on water as much as power. A stalled Columbia River Treaty, political sparring over the Great Lakes, and cuts to vital science programs don't just grab headlines. They add real costs to cars, chips, and jobs. Prime Minister Carney's refusal to sell bulk water isn't symbolic. It's a signal to markets. The era of water as commodity is over. What matters now is resilient planning, airtight recycling, and transparent governance. For automakers, that means aligning with plants and partners that can guarantee stable water and power. If Washington and Ottawa rebuild trust, updating the Columbia Treaty and honoring Great Lakes commitments, the North American auto belt can expand with confidence. If not, expect pricier builds and shifting investment. The next big upgrade isn't horsepower, it's hydropower and the governance behind it. So, what do you think? Is Carney's stance leverage or liability? How should automakers adapt? Will water politics steer EV and chip plants? If you found this video insightful, be sure to subscribe to Highway Herald for the latest vehicle updates and in-depth analyses. Your support helps us bring you the best in automotive content. Please leave a comment below to start a conversation. Thanks for watching and see you next time. You can now check out any of the videos on the screen. There's more exciting and informative content waiting for you.